Here we go.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Investing Bros. Fun fact, this is going to be the last one in this office. It's been a good run. We'll miss this little room. We'll not miss the Wi-Fi, though. It should be very fun moving over to Atlanta. But we got a lot to talk about today because yesterday, oh my goodness, what a great last 24 hours on Bitcoin. First, we spike up to 30,000. Then we dump 3,000 back down to 27. A lot of people assumed, and there was a lot of rumors out there, it was because the U.S. government and Mt. Gox wallets became active, although there are reports claiming that the government story was a false narrative. We have not seen government wallets move. How do we know if that's even actually true? We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more today because it wasn't even just that story yesterday. In case you guys stepped away from your computers and you're just now coming back to check on crypto, we had an onslaught of dumping of chaotic news happening yesterday. So we're going to cover that today in this shorter abridged show. I am joined by both of my co-hosts sitting not even across the desk from each other, but next to each other in a little hotel room out in Austin, Texas, preparing for consensus. So how are the both of you doing? T-Shroom and Army Piper, what's going on?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man? We're doing great out here. Lots of things to go see today. We got a lot of meetings to go to and a lot of interviews, and it was great to meet my bro, T-Shroom. So you should have been here. You should have been here.
So I want to just go ahead and spoil this. Before the show started, T-Shroom was wearing a beanie, looking like he was a Florida drug dealer. What happened to the beanie, T-Shroom? There we go. Thank you.
Back. There you go.
I don't deal drugs. I deal truth.
Ooh.
And I'm doing better than I deserve today, Tim.
I was going to ask you how you were doing because that's a very important part of the show. So thank you for filling us in there. You flew in late last night, T-Shroom. What time did you get there? Because I think Crux is in the background somewhere. So Piper and Crux, what time did you guys get into Austin yesterday?
We got in about 4?
Yeah, it's about 4:30.
About 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, and I got in about
you guys just been
5:30.
Yeah.
5:30 p.m.
Yeah, we've been chilling. And we went last night. We had some barbecue at what we thought was a restaurant, but was actually an entire area of nothing but food trucks. So
yeah,
there you go.
Cool stuff. Well, I'm excited to hear more about what happens out there in Austin. But we did find out. Here's a question I'd put in the poll for everybody. I'm very interested to hear what people think. What caused yesterday's $3,000 crash? Was it the U.S. government and Mt. Gox wallet selling off? I put that there before we saw the stuff saying that the government thing was false. We'll have to see. I don't know. The government might have moved money and then claiming not to, but we'll see. Was it that? Was it T-Shroom leaving Gainesville? Because I swear to you guys, the dump started right as T-Shroom was getting on the plane. That could very well be it. The other thing is we should have known this yesterday when Beamer made a special appearance. He knocked over one of the backlights. What do we know about Beamer? When crashes are coming, Beamer creates havoc and does crazy things. So I'm leaning a little bit towards Beamer knocking over the backlight. I think he is the reason it crashed. But what about you two fine gentlemen in Austin? What do you guys think? What is causing this crash?
So there's a lot of rumors going on, and we're actually finding confirmation now that it wasn't Mt. Gox. Is that what you found?
It is definitely unclear if Mt. Gox and the United States government wallets sold. I'm also seeing comments to major Twitter accounts, comments on major Twitter accounts, posts saying that it was a company called Jump Capital that sold. So it could be a different party that sold. I mean, obviously it had to have been someone else or a giant cluster of retail sellers. So, it's unclear right now, but more than likely there was a whale, whether that's the U.S. government or Mt. Gox, somebody sold. But the good news is it didn't seem to do much, lasting damage. It just gave a couple of lucky people, maybe with some limit orders, a nice fresh entry.
Yeah, I was going to say whatever it was, whoever it was, it absolutely was a few or singular large entity trying to flood the market, but Bitcoin was a little too resilient. We're not back up to 30,000 just yet. We did jump back up to about 29.4, and now we're hovering right about 28.8. So we will cover more of that in the technical analysis section. But before we do that, let's get in here and read some of these amazing community names here. And of course, my poll blocks the top two, but that's why I write them down on this trusty yellow notepad. So this episode is brought to you by Yellow Notepads. Get you one today. More than likely at a Walmart or Target or probably even a CVS or something. I don't even know. I bet my wife bought this for me. Anyway, today, the first two comments of the day were CBD Suddy. Also, happy belated birthday. I think CBD was 2 days ago. So happy extra birthday. We announced that yesterday, but we're still going to give you some more celebration here. A mellow fellow was right behind him, tweaking on that bot, but it's not quite fixed just yet. A mellow, you got to do a little bit more. Other people we have here in chat this morning, Eric Wallen is here, Crypto Pew Pew Cruz, and I'm going to read this comment because he put a lot of thought into this one. It's almost a paragraph here. Sharks and whales came out to play and tried to scare some fish away. Bros will share what the charts convey. Shout out to Gia S in a wonderful day. Wow. Crypto Pew Pew Cruz with the bars, with the rhyming. Love to see it. Who else do we have here today? Mike Play is here. Mr. J, Bedridden, he's our moderator too, but he is our, at the moment, him and Tom Wilkes are our two, is it platinum? Is it diamond? Diamond. I wanted platinum. T-Shroom won that fight. He got diamond members, our top group over in Patreon. So shout out to Bedridden. Who else?
You're saying that T-Shroom you in a fight?
Well, I choose my battles. And he decided that was the battle he wanted to win. Let's keep going on though here. Crypto Military Vet. I don't know if I said it already, but Crypto JMP, Crypto Military Vet. Gia S is here. Eric Wallen is here. Ninja Glock is here. Crypto Trappa. T-Shroom with the blue wrench. And he said this is going to be a very unique show, but we are working hard to bring it to you live from Austin, Texas. Bada bing. It's going to be awesome. Today and tomorrow actually will be brought to you from Austin, Texas, with the production at least. Justin Eubanks is here. Let's see who else do we got showing up today. Joe Nickel is here. Steve Shrum. I haven't gotten to read Steve Shrum name in a while, but shout out to Papa Shrum. Philly Skills 1428. Uh-oh. I hear something in the background. What?
I said Papa Shrum.
Oh, okay. It sounded like there's something else. Tom Recruits is here. John Kahn. Get a couple more here. Elo Brown. Crux of Crypto with the blue wrench is in chat. Average Crypto Joe. Bob. Everyone's favorite name. Bob. Just simple. 2 capital B's, though. So, Bob, we might need a story on that one. The Kid Co MN is here. Alton Henderson. I read that name. Bobby Smoot. Oman 13. Ooh, look at this. We got a super chat from Eric Wallen saying, I didn't know it was the gun show. For legal purposes on YouTube, we do have to announce no guns were shown in the portrayal of this show. We are talking about the arms of the T-Shroom. So just in case someone got triggered there, you never know. Crimson Caravan Company is here. Shannon Sharp with the blue wrench. I'll get a couple more here on this special show. Mark Gautier. Gautier? I don't know. Gautier. Gautier, I'm going to go with still. Jojo is here. And the last one I'm going to read in the moment. That is all we have for today. If I did not read your name, guys, I think you know what? I think there's only one more that I have to read. So I'm going to go, 2 more. Sir McGuire and Elliot Locke. Now, I think I literally got everybody's name. If I did not, though, for some weird reason, it's not because I don't love you. It is because it is time to get on with this fantastic show. And we got Piper back today, so let's jump in. I don't know what the details are. I think there was some numbers coming out this morning on the economic data. So, Piper, what are we looking at on our more macroeconomic outlook right now?
So, Tim, taking a look here, you can see that we had the GDP growth rate came in quarter over quarter, and the GDP price index for quarter over quarter. They previously on that growth rate, it was at 2.8%. The consensus is that it was going to be 2%, forecasted to be 2.3%. Actually came in at 1.1%, so below the consensus and forecast on that growth rate, which means that GDP is slowing down right now for this quarter, a lot more than they expected it to be. And then the GDP price index, of course, came in at 4% with 3.7% with a consensus and a 3.5% for the forecast. Previously, it was at almost 4%. So about neutral from what it was last time on the price index right there. The big one, though, initial jobless claims for this week. This is the number of people this week that have filed for unemployment. It's supposed to be around 248,000 to 249,000. Came in less than expected at 230K. So that is also another reason that you'll see the Dixie move up. And I think that's what we're seeing today, Tim.
Yep, we are.
So
that's all we have today. Yeah, and this influences. Let's go over to my screen here, as we always do. The CME futures tool. After yesterday, we did see a drop down to 70% for a 25 basis point hike. We're back up to 84. So seeing the lower GDP more than likely is the largest factor coming in here. I'm not too sure just yet. We still got 6 days until we have the actual FOMC meeting. We don't really know what's happening with the bank either. Was it First Republic something? I don't even remember the name of it because that bank is so insignificant to me. First Republic. All right, I said it first, but I said it backwards because I am dyslexic. First Republic Bank, still we're questioning what's going to be happening there. The other thing we got to wait for tomorrow, of course, as Piper just said, that PCE number. Let's take a look. This is going to be really interesting. I got to refresh the page. Is it 59? All right. So I'm really curious with how this fear and greed index went because at one point yesterday, I bet you that fear dropped down to about 20. People were probably freaking out. It was a fun story. I got on the charts yesterday to do some random TA for some of our Discord members over our Patreon members in Discord. So our gold members and up. So I'm sitting here doing TA on some of the coins they want. And I'm looking at the price of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, I think, was sitting at 29,400 or something like that. And I watched it drop to 29,000. I was like, oh, okay, wow, someone just sold. And then it said 28.8. And I was like, oh my goodness, we're going down. And then it says 28.3. And I'm literally over the period of like 30 minutes, I'm just like watching live the Bitcoin charts just crashing. And I'm sure that people were just freaking out, wondering what the heck is going on. Speaking of Bitcoin, though, let's show that chart real quickly. I'm going to go down. Let's go to the hourly chart. Let's see what's happening here. You guys see like the massive amount of stuff happened just within 1 hour time frame here yesterday around 3 o'clock. I guess technically speaking, I misspoke, T-Shroom. You weren't boarding the plane. You were in the sky leaving the state of Florida during this thing. So, yeah, it is still your fault. A combination of Beamer knocking over the light and T-Shroom leaving Florida is what crashed just yesterday. But here's the thing, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. I told you yesterday, when I'm wrong about something, I will tell you guys I'm wrong. I will say I did not think we were going to see a $3,000 crash. So I did not call that. I did not think that was going to happen. I sat there probably just as like, oh, dang, what is happening right now, as all the rest of you guys. But I did sit here. No, that was close. Whew. Don't add SH when you're trying to say the word sit. I was sitting here saying, all right, as long as we hold 27.2, I'm not really going to freak out that much. And guess what this freaking price did? It literally went all the way down right to the bottom of my yellow box. And I was sitting there like, oh my gosh, am I completely wrong? Am I going to have to get on the show tomorrow and just be like, all right, guys, here we go. It's wrong that Bitcoin's crashing. But sure enough, we bounced right at my spot, came back up. We're hovering right now. If we were to go to smaller time frames, I almost never do this, but we were doing it yesterday on the so I kind of was doing some TA and joining the Discord group.
Even though I was doing all the other stuff, it's locked on that.
Yeah.
Hey, we can hear your guys' entire conversation if you guys are didn't know that. Okay. I think they went mute now. So here we go. We have kind of held up here in a little bit of a zone. And if you actually were to pull up and go to our Fibonacci levels, you'll find this is very, very fascinating. I was actually talking with Crypto Trades. I didn't see him in chat here today. Very interesting. He's usually pretty much here. What we're bouncing on right now is the 0.5 level. We've kind of, even though we broke above it 2 times, we're kind of hovering right now between the golden pocket and the 0.5 level here. So keep your eyes on this, especially some smaller trades. You guys will also notice, again, very key. We talked about this before. When you're getting both your bearish and bullish signals calling the bottoms pretty well, that's a good sign that we're moving sideways. So until we get a significant breakout, what we're looking for right now, guys, the bears need to break 28,641. They need to get below this 0.5, and the bulls need to get confidently back above the golden pocket of $29,063. We need to see a confidence boost, and then more than likely, even on this 10-minute chart, we want to see if we're bullish, we want to see an overbought or a reversal triangle get ignored. If you're a bear right now and you're looking for a short position, you're going to want to see a green triangle or an oversold get ignored and the price just pushed down. But these are the levels we are looking at. These are kind of backed up even with some of these smaller time frame predictive ranges right here. Take down my Fibonacci. You guys are seeing right now we are bouncing on the top of the gold band, the upper gold band on the 10-minute chart here using our chart prime indicators. So keep your eyes on that. There's a little bit of a wrestling zone happening right now. And let me go back out to the 4-hour chart here. I'm going to take down my predictive ranges. What we're seeing happen, we discussed it a little bit earlier, but we did see with that GDP growth number coming in a little lower than what was expected. That means the economy is not doing well, which means that's all more. Well, it's funny. Actually, I feel like that's actually more of a reason why we might see, even though there's a reaction today that the dollar's pumping, that actually could play into Jerome Powell's second guessing if he wants to raise interest rates because of the GDP is coming in lower. That means the economy is not doing well as we expected, and there's a lot of things that could play in there. So keep an eye on that. We could just be seeing volatility. But when we're just looking at the charts, so let's go over the Dixie charts, which I was already there. You guys can see right now I've been tracking a zone of falling resistance. We were expecting this top band, but over the last little bit, over the last week or so, we've been more respecting this bottom band. So we just came up and kissed on it just perfectly. Are we going to see a little bit higher of a rally? We absolutely could. You're going to see the 4-hour dynamic reactor is sitting at the top of this band. So I'm not even going to be necessarily blown away or it's not going to be crazy if we see the Dixie push through this level of resistance and head back to the upper end of this zone of resistance. However, in case you guys are wondering, I'm actually, even as I'm saying it to you right now, a lower GDP growth is actually more of a reason why we could see the Fed second guess a 25-point hike. But we're going to have to wait another 6 days before that gets confirmed. Keep your eyes on that. But it is funny that as we kind of pushed up this morning, I can even go to the hourly chart here. You guys can see we've pushed up over the last 2 hours. Big volume coming in on Dixie comparatively to the last couple of hours. But we kissed on that resistance. That was the same level we saw Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano, everything else starting to take a little bit of a dip. But now as Dixie's hitting resistance, we're seeing Bitcoin kind of find a little bit of its support as well. Like we said, on that golden pocket. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to show you guys today. There probably isn't. Ultimately, what we're seeing happen right now is just continuation of, hey, we had a nice bullish push yesterday. That $30,000 triggered a whale. Was that whale the government? Was that whale Mt. Gox? Was that whale somebody else? I think T-Shroom gave another name. At this point, any of those is possible. I know people are saying that the rumors of the government and Mt. Gox are false, but I have not seen receipts just yet. So at this point, it is just he said, she said. So I'm very interested to see what whale kind of came in here and did this price to the downside. The good news is, though, the resilience of Bitcoin, we held up. We're pushing back the upside. I do not believe this pump is over. And so I'm going to continue with my trading plan. I'm going to continue saying I believe that we're pumping into the Bitcoin 2023 conference happening later on in May, I guess late to mid-May. And until I see something different, that is holding up. Let's take a quick look here at some other coins, though. I think Piper probably will give us a little more on Ethereum. I will say Ethereum did not hold up necessarily as well as Bitcoin. If you guys were even to come over here, the Bitcoin dominance is still moving to the upside. Ethereum dominance very much moving to the downside. And that is because, remember these yellow boxes we've kind of been talking about here? We made a couple of these for a couple of different coins. Ethereum dropped below its box. And even as Bitcoin made its push back to the bottom level of that box, Ethereum dropped pretty significantly through it. It is back above, but it's kind of testing that 1-hour dynamic reactor and the top of this yellow box once again. Cardano, on the other hand, staying much above. They came back down, tested their top of their box once again, but Cardano is actually one of the ones right now performing a little bit better, almost back up to the top of that rally at 41 cents that it had yesterday. So Cardano looking stronger than Bitcoin and Ethereum in this recovery bounce after the large crash. With that said, though, that's what I'm going to do right now for Crypto TA. I'm going to throw it to Piper for his Ethereum TA because that is his favorite. He claims not to be a maxi, but again, I want to see the receipts on that as well. I'm just kidding. He's not an Ethereum maxi. What are you seeing, Piper, on Ethereum that makes you either excited, discouraged? What are your thoughts?
So, Tim, real quick here on Ethereum, I just want to point out that we did bounce out of the platinum pocket yesterday, that 886 that I told you was going to be resistance there. And then when we pulled back in with that Bitcoin dump, we actually came right back to the 786. That was the extent of that dump on Ethereum. So we're still inside that little platinum pocket right now on the 4-hour, just under the dynamic reactor. Not overly concerned about it. I think as long as Bitcoin continues to go up, we're going to see this RSI strength continue to push up here a little bit. I'd like to see this RSI maybe cool off underneath here just a little so that this can get back down to 786, maybe cool all of this off a little bit in the oscillator world. But beyond that, nothing important that I'm seeing here that's going on, good or bad. We're just basically back in the same range that we've been in. So, but I do know that T-Stream also got some information to update on the Mt. Gox dump yesterday. So.
That's right, Piper. And we can go to my screen and I can kind of give you guys the download on that a little bit.
So it muted the mic when you went to your screen.
There you
so
go.
They did not hear you. There you
go. But it's a little bit complicated, but I seem to have been able to piece it together for the most part. So what had happened was this account DB, which is a very widely followed, they have 288,000 followers on. They're kind of like Zero Hedge or Trader.guru. You know, they have a lot of followers, and they said at 3 p.m. yesterday, Mt. Gox and U.S. government wallets making transactions, and then they referenced Arcam alerts. Well, Arcam has distanced themselves, meaning they've taken a little bit of some verbal action here to try to clarify. Said Arcam intelligence has investigated the DB alert that indicated that Mt. Gox and U.S. government wallets had moved some Bitcoin. The Arcam team stated the DB created 2 alerts for all BTC transactions above 10,000 and labeled them Mt. Gox and U.S. Gov. And then if you go and you look, DB has actually issued I wouldn't call it an apology, but they're kind of clarified because this is their pinned tweet for today. It says, had to wait to get clarification from Arcam, did not want to point the finger incorrectly, believe they will make a statement soon, will use multiple on-chain providers going forward. So I think what happened was it was user error over on the DB team. They were using Arcam's alert systems, but they had mislabeled or they had poorly labeled basically an alert. So what they thought was specific wallets that were moving Bitcoin or selling Bitcoin, in fact, may not have been, and it looks like they were not. There is a third party called Jump Capital that was included in this in this investigation, but it looks like they too had triggered fake alerts, I guess you could say. So the question remains is, why did we see so much movement in Bitcoin yesterday? And, we don't really know, but it could have just been those rumors alone. So we will, we may never know. It's possible we may never know. But that's kind of the most bottom that I can find of this story is there was just some user error from a major Twitter news account, DB, and they were using this tool Arcam, which looks pretty cool, to be honest with you. I was looking at their website. Some of their platform looked really, really good. But yeah, so that's kind of some clarification there, just some user error, and probably won't, have too much of an impact on the price ongoing. So the other thing too here to take note, do we want to go ahead and get into stories, or do we want to go back to theory?
What I was going to say before you do that, share my screen here, Piper, really quickly. The other thing, if you guys were on CoinGlass and we had more of this happen, let's see, this is 26. What date is this? 19th. All right. So you're looking at some of the bigger crashes we had. This is the 4-hour, man, get off the screen there. This is the 4-hour on CoinGlass showing liquidations. When you see these large green bars, that is longs that were liquidated. If you see long red bars, that's shorts that are liquidated. So this was last Wednesday, not yesterday, last Wednesday, when we had a big sell-off. You can see that big green bar. And this was the last 2 4-hour candles yesterday around 3 o'clock. You guys can see there's a massive amount of longs that were liquidated yesterday. And so I was telling in the Discord group, I told you guys I was live with a couple of our members in Discord, and I was saying this just whole move reeks of a manipulative move. If you can get the ball rolling, it's actually not hard to form a little bit of a long squeeze, especially with that psychological level at 30,000. There was a large enough whale. So whether that was the government, whether that was Mt. Gox, it sounded like it's not those things. But whether that was any of the other companies, it just takes somebody selling enough to start trickling. If I can get a grouping of longs liquidated and get them out, then of course that's going to bring a lot of momentum to the space, and then it's like this domino effect. And so that's what happens, by the way, guys, when you get crazy long because you're excited. And by the way, I understand why people did it. I wasn't in a leverage long, but I'm still in a long position. I didn't cancel out of it on Bitcoin because I've told you guys I believe that Bitcoin has a lot further to upside to go. But a lot of people probably leveraged a little too much, got a little bit too excited, and sometimes a manipulative whale, all it takes is a little push with a very small snowball, and they can pick up momentum as they go down the hill. And sure enough, that's exactly what we saw. It then kind of shot. There were people entering shorts. A couple of shorts got liquidated. But I saw on a post on Twitter this morning that right now there's like the lowest leverage being traded in a long while right now on Bitcoin because we're sitting in a spot. I've told you before, I'm on the Cardano chart when I go to Bitcoin. As we're kind of middling out here, Piper said it on Ethereum. I said it on Bitcoin. This is a spot that it's like, hey, in more macro, I'm still leaning bullish. But over the next day, over the next 2 days, I don't know. Like there's very much, it's almost like we're in a very small, tight trading band, and a lot of things are possible. Again, I'm leaning more bullish, but the charts are showing you, hey, this is very much so hey, anyone could take control. Let's watch what happens with news stories. And we're about to jump over into news, but something I want to mention here, T-Shroom, before we get there, I'm just going to kind of lay out, I don't know which stories you're prepared to, and I don't even know which one of these are true stories and which aren't. But yesterday, in case you guys did not know, there was a rumor that popped off actually around the same time as the dump. I'm not saying this is the reason for the story, but there was a rumor that Putin was rushed to the Kremlin, and there was this bogus excuse given as to why he did that. But of course, some of you might know there's rumors that Putin's health is not doing very well. So are we seeing something happening over there with Putin? Also, yesterday we had a dump where China is now saying that they're going to start pushing Russia to get a ceasefire with Ukraine as soon as possible. So that's more stuff there. Then we, of course, have all this stuff happening in the banking world. We did see, I think T-Shroom's going to mention this, the fact that now the government is deciding we're going to raise the debt limit. There is just so much news dumped yesterday. And again, the price going all over the place, jumping up $3,000, then crashing $3,000, and then jumping back up $2,000. It was the last 24 hours have been absolute chaos, and that's exactly what somebody wanted to happen, and that's why there was such a crazy and chaotic amount of news dumped yesterday. I'm interested, T-Shroom, how many of those stories you're going to talk about today for our last probably, 10 to 15 minutes of the show, but I want people to know there's a lot of noise out there right now. There's a lot of chaos. The best thing you can do is kind of sit on the sideline and watch for just a little bit. I wouldn't be entering any longs or shorts with any type of conviction. I'm going to sit here and watch what's happening before I make a move. T-Shroom, you're going to take it away and get into some of those juicy stories.
Absolutely, Tim. Well, we'll get into the stories, and then as the market opens, I'll flip over to that because the big one to watch is going to be the price movement for First Republic Bank as they're expected to be seized by the U.S. government. That was a headline from the 25th, kind of confirming that the bank could be custodied by the U.S. government. And then yesterday we got a headline: First Republic Bank trading halted due to volatility as price continues to fall. So this morning it will be key to watch kind of the price movement. This is just a daily chart of FRC, First Republic Bank. Guys, this is the bank that could be another SVB situation, which obviously is going to have an impact on the prices of a lot of different assets across markets. So that's going to be a big story to watch today. And then we've got some big ones on the stock side. The UK has blocked Microsoft's Activision deal. And there's a couple of implications for that. The UK Competition and Market Authority decision to block Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Call of Duty maker Activision means the U.S. does not need to stand alone in its challenge of the massive $69 billion deal. This really only has implications on Activision and Microsoft. I don't know that we'll feel ripple effects into the larger markets, but this is a big story because these are big names. And then Meta Platforms, in pre-trading minutes. Take a look at this chart here. Hold on just a second. I got to get it queued up. But this is insane. And
just
now we're
opened.
live. Yeah, so the market's open. Look at this gap, guys. This is a 14% gap, 12% gap, excuse me. And this is crazy. Well, it's actually probably 14 from the bottom of that closed candle. Yeah, so 13 and change. This is Meta. This isn't ADA. This isn't Bitcoin. This is Meta, Facebook. This is the thing that you message your mom on to ask for more money, right? This is crazy movement, and it's getting back up to that equilibrium range there from Chart Prime. So definitely a big story to watch as their shares popped on guidance of sales increases. The company shares popped 12% pre-market first quarter numbers that beat analyst expectations on top and bottom line. So that's going to be revenue and profit. And there's a big smile from Mark Zuckerberg, who's been working hard to earn back the favor of shareholders there over at Meta. Let's see. There's a couple more. Amazon is going to come out with their earnings a little bit later today after the bell. So at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, let's go ahead and do a market open really quickly. Not going to take too long doing this, but your energy all up across the board. Natural gas and oil both up pretty significantly there. And then the S&P up, NASDAQ up, green, and the Dow getting bought. The NASDAQ getting bought most aggressively, up 1.1% there. So you could say money might be rotating into the NASDAQ out of FRC. In fact, let's go ahead and see how FRC is opening really quickly. It is up. So FRC is getting bought this morning. We'll see how long that lasts. It's just above that discount channel there. It wicked into it yesterday. Yesterday's candle wicked into the discount channel. But I think this is probably just pity buying or panic buying, honestly, from the bigger banks here that are scared that this going too much lower could actually result in another FDIC bailout and government custody, which is just not going to look good for the banks. So somebody's buying here. I don't know who would be buying other than degenerates and the big banks. So that's going to be your summary of the big banks, all green this morning. Oil producers pretty much green. Your mid-cap stocks green across the board, with DraftKings leading the way up 2.7%. Cannabis aggressively green. There might be some fundamental news there in cannabis. You do not see them this high up. Tilray up 7%, and the main ETF there for cannabis, MJ, up 5%. That's kind of exciting. Your bond yields are up. Your bond yields are up, and the 2-year is back up again, up above 4% there. And then your benchmark 10-year is up 1.25% there on the day. And there's Meta leading the way for your mega cap tech stocks, and Tesla down slightly, and the rest of your mega cap tech stocks are up. And then metals are selling off a little bit here, not too much, but both down about 0.4%. And then your crypto watch list is going to be very mixed, with Bitcoin doing well, up 1.5%. Atom leading the way, up 4.6%. And yeah, that's pretty much the biggest ones of note. Cake continues to get slaughtered, continues to move to the downside, now well within the discount range. So unfortunately, Cake getting kind of some of those worried investors, maybe over there from First Republic Bank, maybe they were also in Cake. So we shall see how that cookie crumbles. But that's gonna round out our market open. I mean, it looks like, equities are getting bought, metals are not. And there's definitely a lot of optimism in crypto, but there is some weakness in some names that are not getting bought this morning over in crypto. So that's going to be your market open and your stories. There, it's a busy day, and it's only going to get busier with Amazon's earnings. Later at the bell.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. There's also a story. It is just like 53 minutes old, but I don't know if we mentioned this yet or not. Justin, Kraken crypto exchange company has taken the United States IRS to court They're pretty much saying going after the IRS for just being chaotic over everything going on. That was wheel chart. There was another one I saw, kind of put it in better words here, but I can't remember where I found it. This is scrolling through Twitter, but again, all this noise is just absolutely crazy. Where was it that I saw? I don't know. I'm gonna be able to find it. You can go off my screen because otherwise they're just gonna see a bunch of fun stuff here. You can see Tucker Carlson. He made his first report since being what, and that's the other one. Was he fired by Fox? Did he leave Fox?
Yes.
They said it was a mutual agreement.
Yeah, it sounds like a good
Which
way to
means
say that he was fired. They
he
don't
was
wanna
fired.
talk too much though. Yeah, I think he was fired. The good news is though, I think for everybody, because I was even watching. You guys see that what's his name? Kennedy. What's his first name though? Robert? Was it Robert Kennedy?
Robert.
He was actually saying that how he believed Tucker was good because Tucker had a way of getting views that brought both sides in to listen. Of course, Tucker is more conservative, but he would actually discuss the topics that nobody else in the industry wanted to touch. So I think that long-term Tucker Carlson and all of us listeners who want censorship of media to stop are going to benefit from this whole move. And again, I've been saying that for a long time. I think that Fox, people that think that Fox is so much better than like CNN or others, you're very, very confused. No, Fox and CNN are actually owned by the exact same people, and that's kind of stuff that Tucker was talking about. With that said, though, was there any other stories, T-Shroom, that you saw today that you wanted to go over, or was that kind of it?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a couple of headlines that I'm seeing now. Crypto.com unveils collaboration with Samsung. That's pretty big. But other than that, there's, I think we've covered the majority of it. So I would just say, just be staying tuned to Piper and Crux and I's Twitter. We'll be posting some fun pictures probably from Austin and from the Consensus event. And we'll definitely be posting stuff in the Discord as well. So be staying tuned to that. And thank you so much for everybody who's listening today and following along.
Absolutely.
Yeah, guys, today was going to be a shorter show anyway. We're probably going to wrap it out here because these guys can get off and get to the conference this morning. But we want to thank each and every single last one of you guys for joining us this morning. Go ahead and smash that like button on your way out and subscribe to the channel if this is your first time. The shows are normally a little bit longer than this. On Monday, they'll be going back to an hour long with a full structure. And I'm super excited about what this channel is doing. We're over 3,000, over 3,100 subscribers right now. My prediction, though, and I want you guys to help us get there, my prediction is we get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of June. Help us get there. We're going to, actually, was it the end of June or was it the end of May? I think we could do it. Let's say mid-June. Give us a month and a half, give or take, to get there. Help us do that. Spread this channel to all your friends, your family, your loved ones. Create 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th YouTube channels. I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that. But let's get that number to 4,000 here very, very soon. Once again, guys, this is the last day I'm going to be in this office. I don't know if I'll still have a blue wall behind me or not. Probably not. I'm going to be shooting more than likely the live shows from inside the HIT network on the daily basis. So awesome. Make sure you guys do not go anywhere. I've loved this room. I've loved you guys' community. The good news is while this room will no longer be a part of the community, you guys and myself will. So it's going to be a great, great future. That being said, continue to keep your eyes on the news. Like T-Shroom said, keep your eyes on their Twitter because they're going to be giving you a lot of live updates from Austin. A lot of things could be happening over the next couple of days, and it's just getting interesting. Love all of you. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Very different show. Again, I think almost all of us are going to be kind of remote on that one, but we'll still be here, and we will still be running to give you guys everything you need to invest wisely for yourself. Last thing I'll say, actually, as this is a very long outro, last thing I'll say, make sure we're still doing bro time today for all of our gold and diamond members over in Discord. So make sure you guys show up there. It's going to be really fun. Even if these two goobers can't make it, I will be there. So love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Adios.